Hey guys, Marissa at KitchenTableStamper.com. I've got card number 2 out of 4 in the November Paper and Ink Christmas card series for you. We've got a series of cards that are pretty easy to mass produce for your holiday giving needs. So this is card number 2, card number 1, card number 3, and card number 4. Paper and ink cards is the third Monday of every month in my Rolling Meadows home studio. We make each of these cards in class. Class is $15 or free with a qualified order in class that night. You can earn these cards for free if you're not local. Just place an order at marisaalvarez.stampinup.net, $50 or more before tax and shipping. Use the host code and I'll send you the kits in the mail automatically. 2 things: make sure your mailing address is correct because I do it automatically when I close the hostess code. And if your order is more than 150, place your order as yourself, get your Stampin' rewards. Orders over 150 automatically get the card kits also. That's my November ordering special. So get those orders in and let me help you make your Christmas cards. So this is our card today. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And this card features the birch background stamp. Love this thing. We're also featuring the Merry Moose bundle. Now, Merry Moose is a 17-piece photopolymer stamp set. And when you bundle it up with the Moose Punch, can you guess? You save 10% when you buy both of these items together, Merry Moose and the Moose Punch. We're using the beautiful boughs die set. We're going to use this pine bough right here as an accent piece for our background. Doesn't that give such nice texture? My sentiment is on half of an everyday label punch. Just a fun way to add a little decorative touch. I've got my 2 1/4 inch circle punch here again. My Coastal Cabana background is 2 1/4 inch circle. And let's see here, stamping pads for the project are Early Espresso and Crumb Cake. Let's take a look at the kit. The kit includes a scrap for stamping and punching your moose. You need about 2.5 by 3.5 there, crumb cake. Got a little piece of the Night Before Christmas Designer Series paper. We're gonna cut that little hat out. That hat pattern, it's just repeating hats. Fits perfect on our little moose. Pick up a pack of the Night Before Christmas Designer Series paper too, so you'll always have little Santa hats for your moose. I've got a piece of pretty peacock cardstock here. This is, I don't know, 2.5 by 4 maybe. I'm gonna cut my pine boughs out of this. If you get a kit from me, your boughs will be cut for you. Got some Very Vanilla scrap here. I'm gonna stamp my sentiment and punch it out. Your kit will have half a label in it. The Designer Series paper, a little bit more here. Night Before Christmas. This Night of Navy pattern is 3 by 3, and this multicolor stripe piece is 1 3/4 by 3. My card base is Crumb Cake, and it's 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. Let's get started by stamping our background. Clear this away and get that background stamp. So our birch background stamp is here, and we've got the rubber stamp up and the cling is on the table. I don't use a block when I do a background stamp. I just ink up real well and then pop my card base on top of the background. Then pop some scratch paper over top of that and then burnish the design right onto the front of the card. That way I find that I can give the center of this big stamp the proper pressure and attention it needs. And we don't have any faded out centers this way. You get a nice crisp image all across the card. There's our birch. Isn't it cool? I really love this. Just a light texture and so outdoorsy to go with our Moose Punch and Merry Moose stamp set. All right, let's do a little bit more stamping here. We're gonna use Stampin' Pierce Matte. Got Early Espresso ink and my awesome little moose outline. I'm gonna stamp him feet down all the way at the bottom, so we have a place to hold on to get in the punch. Look at how cool he is. What a great image. Set him aside, let him dry for a second before we punch him. And then it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I love that sentiment. We're gonna stamp that right in the center of our scrap here. So crisp, what a nice looking greeting. All right, clear away the ink pad. Let's do some punching. All right, here's my moose punch. Gonna slide him in and see, we've got enough of a handle on the top there that we can really adjust, get a perfect border around our moose. Check out a couple of points and make sure you've got good placement before you punch down. So I'm checking the antlers, the legs, the tail, and the nose. I've got a nice even border, so I'll squeeze and punch. Look at how perfect he is. I don't want to fussy cut that. Love this punch. Now our everyday label punch, we're gonna go ahead and slide our scrap right in, and we want to line. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Right up along the bottom of the punch. This line doesn't matter. This can go uphill or downhill. We're watching our text and the bottom of the punch. We want that right along that bottom edge, centered right to left. There's our little sentiment. All right, time for a quick die cut. Let's do our bow. Got my die cut machine, my pretty peacock. Here's my little bow. All right, cranked it back and forth. It's got quite a bit of detail in it. And my little bow is still in the die, so I'm gonna take some washi tape and just use the washi tape as a handle to pull it right out. Did you see that? So if your delicate or intricate cuts get stuck in the die, a little washi tape goes a long way for getting it out. All right, I just popped the last little detail out of there. Here's what we're making. And let's get some snail and Stampin' Dimensionals. I like to take my snail across the top of the striped paper and just add a little bit. And then put some on the back of our Night of Navy pattern. Need that little greeting on there first. So the snail on the back, we've got our greeting. And then we're gonna overlap. Making a little sandwich here. I need a little more adhesive. Oh, looks like I turned my paper. There we go. Now we're rocking. Okay, now we've got one piece here. We can center this on our card. Make sure everything's nice and square. Then we can adhere our little blue highlight. I need a bit of multi-purpose liquid glue on the back of this pine bough. A little bit will go a long way. I'm just hitting some of these wider areas of the cut. And then we're going to adhere it so that it goes up on our circle piece and right next to our greeting. Pretty cool. Now we need some dimensionals for our moose. I'm going to snip these down a little bit so we've got some pieces, especially for the moose's legs. I'm going to snip some of these in like thirds instead of half. So now I've got these little small strips so we can support his little legs. One of these little strips on each leg will help him, especially if he's going through the mail. Okay, my dimensionals are sticky. Let's place our moose. We just want to make sure that he's level. Now it's time for the finishing touch. We're going to go ahead and fussy cut ourselves a cutie little hat for this moose. You're going to just cut right on the line and liberate that hat from the designer series paper. Isn't that cute? All right, a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue. Don't cover his eyes. And there's our adorable little Santa moose. All right, if you've got questions about paper and ink cards, about Christmas cards, how I can help you create handcrafted Christmas, email Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. To order your supplies, you can buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching.